pay attention to hear the messages and take the valuable association of the speaker. So I'll briefly introduce Prabhuji. Kaunteya Prabhuji has done PhD in Indo-Vedic psychology, and he has several Bhakti-related scholarship degrees called Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav degrees. He is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapada Swami Maharaj, and he joined ISKCON in Rome, in Italy, in May 1980. I don't know, some of you may not have been born by that time. so he has so much experience, you can imagine. And he resides in Mayapur. He served and he currently serves in several different positions in various capacities. As book distributor, distributing Srila Prabhupada literature, and as a Gurukul teacher, and as a mediator, and many more services he has. Some of the positions that he holds in the global ISKCON organization are, he is the co-minister of ISKCON Congregation Development Ministry. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So that is a body of ISKCON, department of ISKCON, which is involved in developing preaching like that. Prabhuji has written some books also in that regard, like Bhakti Rusha Manual and the Sunday Feast book, how to cater Sunday Feast to the right audience, like that. And then he's also co-chairman of GBC Organization Development Committee, and is a trustee and faculty member of GBC College for Leadership Development. That's a college that is established a few years ago for developing the leaders globally for ISKCON. So it's such a prestigious college. And then is a member of GBC Strategic Planning Team, and is a member of GBC Nominations Committee. That means if somebody needs to become a GBC member, the committee oversees that. And then is a coordinator of ISKCON Constitution Project. Many of you might know, a few years ago when the strategic planning started, they realized that there's no constitution written down for ISKCON. So there's a big effort. So a lot of devotees, great devotees are working on it. And is also the GBC representative for Iran, and is a special duty officer for ISKCON Brazil, and is a member of Latin Regional Governing Body. Oh, really? Yeah. So a lot of positions Prabhuji served. And now he has authored several books. A couple of them I already mentioned, Bhakti Rusha Manual and Sunday Feast books. It's called Super Sunday. And the book of icebreakers, many of you know when you go attend Bhakti Vishas, one of the first activities, icebreaker activity. It's a nice book for that icebreakers. And he wrote a book called Srila Prabhupada Want Women Diksha Gurus. And also he wrote Varnashrama Illuminations book. Actually, one of the way I know Prabhuji is he came for Gita Nagari, one of the retreats with His Holiness Rampa Maharaj. That time I heard his class on Varnashrama. The principles were very clear, how education is the focus to get Varnashrama established like that. Prabhu was sharing at that time. And then he also wrote another book, How to Mess Up Varnashrama by Understanding Women and Neglecting Gurukula. So focus on education again. And then tough questions, difficult answers on Srila Prabhupada's contentious remarks. Is also a valuable contribution for ISKCON, because many times we are preaching, we hear from devotees, oh, why did Prabhupada say women are not intelligent like that? So many things. And then Neo Smartas, ISKCON's Greatest Danger, is another book Prabhuji wrote. So I request all of you to pay full attention and take the maximum benefit from the association of Prabhuji. So feel free to, whenever Prabhuji opens up for discussion, please feel free to ask anything also. So, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for coming, Prabhu. We are very fortunate to have your association. Hare Krishna.
Very, very kind of you. You did not just read, but you embellished, augmented. Hare Krishna. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namam Vishabudaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhavyocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. I was asked to speak about Jagannath, since in a couple of days you will have your Snana Yatra, the ceremony of bathing Jagannath, Subhadra Baladev, and in their Leela they will become unmanifest to the eyes of devotees for a couple of weeks, and then you'll have Ratha Yatra. So Jagannath, how to understand Jagannath, how to feel for Jagannath. I'm not the best person to speak about those things because the departments of feelings, spiritual feelings, I'm very much lacking. But I heard the devotees, the great devotees, speaking about the Lord. So I will be successful if I can just reflect, like a broken piece of glass reflects the sun. I'll be lucky if I can reflect a little bit their feelings. I can tell you that perhaps the most intense experience with Jagannath was a result of a reflection. Last year I was in Puri, and we have a disciple of Srila Prabhupada who somehow, by the inscrutable plans of the Lord, first of all, he resides in Puri since decades, so everybody knows him. And he resides in Puri without a passport and without a visa. And somehow he was explaining to me that it's still legal, because some judge somewhere in Orissa had passed a ordinance that he can reside. So he doesn't have a passport. He's from Italy originally. He doesn't have a passport. He doesn't have a visa, but it's legal to be in Puri. And he doesn't have any intention to move from Puri. And somehow he recently was appointed as manager of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, which was some of you have been there, which is the place where Lord Chaitanya manifested his Sadbhuj form, his form with 6 arms, 2 arms of Krishna, 2 arms as a sannyasi, and 2 arms as Lord Ramachandra. It's a very, very special place. After a few generations, it became the place, the ashram of Ganga Mata Goswamini. So this devotee is now there. He improved it a lot. He got some devotees, Russian devotees, to paint, do some frescoes, brought some statues. And he was telling me one story. Most of you have heard that in Jagannath Puri, the Lord, at regular intervals, changes his body. It's called Navakalevaram, new body. And this devotee, this Srila Prabhupada disciple, was telling me that when that happens, it's an extreme agony for the whole Puri population. They really experience. First of all, you see the devotees of Puri, the inhabitants of Puri are special people. It is said in the Nectar of Devotion that the Devatas see the inhabitants of Puri having 4 arms. So they are special people, because they may be whatever they may be externally, but they have an innate, deep an irrevocable love for Jagannath. This devotee was telling me, you see these boys outside, these are gundas. Okay, these are criminals. No if, no buts. But they have a great love for Jagannath. And the devotees in Puri, they feel, they identify as members of the family of Jagannath. So it's not just a relation like Bhakta and God. He is a member of the family. And when there is this ceremony, this rite, this ritual, this passage of body, the Navakalevara, the whole Puri mourns. But it's not just a ritual. It's not just a performance. Like, for instance, we'll have Snana Yatra, and Lord Jagannath, quote unquote, will get sick. And we know that, but I'm sure I cannot talk for everybody of you, but we take it as a lila. I don't think many devotees lose sleep over that, right? It's a lila. He's having his lila. We serve him in a different way. We give juices and things as medicines. But I don't think anybody here started crying or for that. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody. But we see it I will say, in good spirits. But when the body of the Lord is changed, for the Puri devotees, Jagannath dies. And everybody cries pitifully. And the whole city, they just switch off all the lights. It's like, imagine a city like Puri having a huge funeral. And everybody cries. And while he was telling me this, he started crying himself. Just, again, reflecting on the love of the devotees of Jagannath. He just started crying of remembering seeing the whole city crying. And this made me also cry, almost cry. So it was, the Puri devotees cried, he cried, and I cried. And so the intensity of that feeling cannot really be explained rationally, because we know philosophically, first of all, obviously Jagannath doesn't die. He's the Supreme Lord. Second, we could say it's just a change of body. Right? But for them, they don't take it like that. They don't take it like that. Like a very, very dear member of the family who dies. We know the soul is eternal. They know we pass another body. But we do cry. We feel very, 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 very sad. So, sometimes, especially for me, when you come in front of the deities, I'm not talking only of Jagannath, I'm talking any deity, Nitagore Sundara, Radhamada, Jagannath, Subhadra Devi, Sudarshan Chakra. Personally, I don't see the deities in the deities. I know I'm supposed to contemplate, but basically after 8-9 seconds, I'm done. Say, okay, I go to the next day, okay? So in about 1 minute, I'm done. I should cry, so I should not laugh. But when I see the deities, when I have a glimpse of the deities, when I look at the devotees looking at the deities, if I sit on a side and I look at the devotees, absorbed, focused on the deities, then I have a chance to have a glimpse of what those deities are, who those deities are. Because I see how the devotees perceive the deity, which I, by myself, I can't. So, And of course, we are all here worshiping Jagannath and talking, stringing up a few words about Jagannath, because a great devotee of Jagannath brought Jagannath to the West. We see Srila Prabhupada. The other day I was contemplating how if Srila Prabhupada, the only thing had done, besides the books, besides the temples, besides the farm, besides all the teaching, scientific, academic outreach, all it did, Gurukul, if you take all of that away and you just focus what it did in terms of Jagannath worship, Jagannath deities installation, Jagannath Ratha Yatras, if you just take only that, it will already still qualify as a great acharya. If you just take that, because it's enormous, it's gigantic. And he was meditating since childhood. You know this, many of you know this story. Of course, I don't know all of you personally, so if I say something too elementary, forgive me, because I don't know. Some of you may be a little new. I know some of you are veterans, but some of you may be new. So probably all of you know, when Srila Prabhupada was a child, a mere child, he would always study the train table, how to go to Puri. From Calcutta to Puri, it's about 500 kilometers. And he would meditate how to go to Puri, how to go to Puri, how to go to Puri. That was like his ambition. Well, some children play with different dolls or cars, trucks, or whatever, Monopoly. But that was his meditation. Natural, I mean, nobody was telling, hey, look at the train table. No, he was getting to have to go to Puri, how much it costs. And then what he did, he practically demanded from his father to build a little Ratha Yatra car, Ratha car, something maybe like this, functioning. And he would keep Jagannath, Subhadra Dev, Sudarshan Chakra on the cart, and it would involve the whole neighborhood. The children and the mothers would cook, especially kachoris, and everybody was saying, there's written in Rilamrita, one neighbor told the father, Gurmohan Day, he said, hey, Gurmohan, you're having a big festival, you're not inviting me, what's going on? The father said, oh, it's just a children play. What children play? I see a lot of things, decorations, flowers, kirtan, prasad. So naturally, like, spontaneously did that when he was a mere child. And of course, that didn't stop there. So Jagannath has this nature that is, he is simultaneously very accessible. He goes out to the temple. Some of you know, some of you, especially from South India, may know that the main deities don't go out to the temple. It's called Utsahamurti. Utsahamurti is the smaller version of the deities, like in Srirangam or anywhere, any major temple, Varadaraja. There is an Utsahamurti who go out. And the main temple, the main deity never goes out. But Jagannath goes out. And it doesn't just go out in Puri. It goes out everywhere. Some of you may know that there was a dispute, a diatribe, a conflict between some Puri residents and ISKCON. Because they say that, look, in the scripture, it is said that the Ratha Yatra should be at this date. And you ISKCONians, ISKCONites, whatever is our name, you ISKCON people, do it any time. Like in Chennai, they do for Pongal, right? The harvest in January. And in America, of course, they do one after another, right? Summer, because, and so they were actually very angry. Some people came to the point of burning an effigy of Srila Prabhupada in the street. They're that angry. Some people. Our argument is that, look, first of all, that Shastra we recognize, but that's the Tirtha Mahatmya. That's the glory of the holy place. So it applies in that holy place. And Krishna, Jagannath, is Bhaktavatsala. He reciprocates with the mood and the feelings and the requests of his devotees. So if his devotees want, say, in Russia or in Argentina or in Australia, they want to do the Ratha Yatra some other day, apparently Jagannath is very amenable to that. He's very happy to do that. We never had any indication that he's not happy. You know, often devotees have interaction on the mystical level, and they get messages. You may have heard, like, you know, for instance, Nishingadev, somebody donated new eyes, and then somebody else got a dream, and Nishingadev was quite assertive. I don't want these eyes, I want it back, give me back the old eyes. He has these red eyes, and somebody donated some brown eyes. At one point he appeared, and he said, I want back my eyes, I don't want these eyes. So, but I never heard any instance of Jagannath expressing any problem, having Ratha Yatra any time in the year. Okay, so he's the most accessible, comes out. At the same time, he's also, in one sense, the most mysterious, the most esoteric, very, very different. Even in shape, he's very different. You know, there is the whole story of Vishwakarma carving, saying, no, you cannot interrupt me. If you interrupt me, I stop the work. And then it was interrupted, he stopped the work. But even, quote unquote, the incomplete forms are fully complete. And in fact, many of you know that form is a special form that Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra historically assumed in Dwarka. When the queens of Dwarka were there, they have not witnessed the childhood pastimes of Krishna, because they got married when Krishna was adult. So I believe it was Devaki Mataji, Devaki Devi, who started discussing what Krishna was doing as a child. And all the queens assemble, and they put Subhadra Devi at the door as guard, so that Krishna and Balaram won't come. Because if they come, who knows what they'll do. And so they say, don't let them come inside. So she was at the door. And Devaki started telling her experience of Krishna as a child. So at one point, Krishna came, and Balaram came, and they were at the door. And Subhadra couldn't stop them because she went into some special ecstasy. She's a goddess. She's Yogamaya. She's a divine spiritual entity. So she went in this special form, special ecstasy. Very happy, but without arms. So without arms, how can you stop? How can you stop two big Kshatriyas, right? So, and also Krishna and Balaram started hearing their own pastimes. This is outside? No, don't. I'm just asking, it's outside, no? Okay, sorry. So, they started hearing their own pastimes as children, and they also went into some sort of stunned ecstasy. So their eyes became very big, and then they kind of froze in that ecstatic form. And then there was this special blessing that the desire that this form will be known all over the world, will be worshipped. Although it's such an intimate form, quite quixotic, if you wish, but still, this is the most public form of the Lord. So, and he appears in different ways, because he's the Lord of the universe. At the same time, he plays in this universe to interact with his devotees. And if you read the Lilamrita, you know how Jagannath appeared first in ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada, you all know, started in New York, then the second place was San Francisco. And there was this devotees in San Francisco, and one fine day, we could say, maybe we should put that day in the calendar, but I don't know if anybody knows what day is that. So there was a Indian import shops, and also he had old paraphernalia for hippies. At the time, San Francisco was basically the world capital of the beatnik cultural revolution or involution, whatever it is, the cultural movement. Hippies. Hippies is how people call the hippies. The journalists call hippies. They themselves will call themselves freaks. Okay, so that was this shop. And Malati Devi went to the shop, and the Lilamrita say, found this little statue, little black statue. The Lilamrita says she found it. But I heard it directly from her in Mayapur. She gave a class. She actually stole it. I believe it fell into prescription because it's more than 50 years, right? There shouldn't be any legal repercussion. But she stole it. That's a small thing. It's very easy to occult it. And she brought it to Srila Prabhupada. And she had no idea what it is. She had no idea. Just a sort of tribal-looking, almost totemic in style. But she felt, let me take it. And brought it to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was sitting at his desk. Srila Prabhupada, what is this? Srila Prabhupada paid his obeisance and said, this is the Lord of the universe. And it chose to appear. And then he asked, were there any other similar statue? Yeah, there were others. So get also them. So I don't know the details how she got them. That I don't know, but she got them too. One white and one yellow. And everybody was very surprised to see Srila Prabhupada, very, very respectful, very worshipping these little forms. And then that was the first deity installed in ISKCON. Shyama Sundar was the husband of Malati Devi. He was also a very, very, we could say, multitasking type of person. He knew also how to carve. So he carved replicas, bigger replicas of those. And I mean, obviously it was the beginning. People didn't know much. He was still smoking at times. Sometimes he would even keep the cigarette on top of Jagannath. He doesn't do that anymore. But I'm just saying, the type of accessibility or liberality of Jagannath agreed to appear. And when they were installed, of course, these devotees were not in any capacity, in any stage of skills or knowledge or consciousness to know the whole puja. But Srila Prabhupada say, okay, you bring a candle and you just rotate it in circles in front of him, bring some fruits, and bring some incense, bring some flowers. And Jagannath at the beginning did not have any clothes, just brightly painted, and that was the worship in Frederick Street in San Francisco. And Srila Prabhupada at one point said, I don't know if it was the same period, but at one point said, look, if I had to tell you all the rules of deity worship, you would just faint. Now we understand. We have these pujaris full-time, all the demands of cleanliness, punctuality, opulence, the offering, the cooking. Obviously, there is the whole industry, in a spiritual sense. There's all industry surrounding worship of the deity. And of course, in India, it's also commercially an industry, right? There are deity maker, a paraphernalia maker, dress makers, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's really, I don't know, but maybe a few millions of people are maintained just about the deity worship, the deity worship activities. Anyway, so, and the devotees became very enthusiastic. Jagannath became a highlight of the temple. And the hippies started worshiping, bringing something authorized or not authorized, but anybody brought something to Jagannath, because that was the thing. Swamiji said you had to bring something. And they will offer whatever they had, some strange things. And one day, without asking Srila Prabhupada, they took actually Jagannath out to the Golden Gate Park. And when and Srila Prabhupada heard, he said, you cannot take the deities out like that. But he went to the place, and there was this, there is a video. There's a video of that. Some of you have seen it, with all these hippies and the devotees. And sometimes the devotees are not fully distinguishable from the hippies. But everybody is running around, dancing, all sorts of music, trumpets, all sorts of bongos. And Srila Prabhupada came there and he participated in this big festa, spontaneous worship of the Lord of the Universe there on the grass in a San Francisco park. And then Srila Prabhupada told them, don't do it anymore. Then, of course, Srila Prabhupada started instructing the devotees to do Ratha Yatra. So the first Ratha Yatra was in San Francisco, 1967. You can find it on YouTube, Ratha Yatra, 1967. The first Ratha Yatra was the cart, quote unquote, the cart was a flatbed truck. And the three deities, the truck in the back has three sides. So the deities will face one side, one side. That was the first Rath in the West. Then they made a canopy, some with 4 pillars. They made this kind of square canopy, and that was the first Ratha Yatra. Now, Srila Prabhupada was in San Francisco, but he had just came back from India, where he went to recover because he was seriously sick. So he was in the place called Stilson Beach, north of San Francisco. He couldn't come. I mean, regretfully, he couldn't come for Ratha Yatra. Imagine Srila Prabhupada doing Ratha Yatra. Now, the first Ratha Yatra he couldn't attend. So he was there. And then the devotees thought Ratha Yatra was a success. Okay, let's take Jagannath to Srila Prabhupada. Especially because this road to Stilson Beach was very winding, how do you say? Winding, very uncomfortable. And there's this very colorful book, first-hand experience, Hayagriva Prabhu, the Hare Krishna explosion. He was there. He was one of the leaders, both in New York and then also in San Francisco. He also tells the story. There was some hippie distributing sugar. And he tells how he just nonchalantly took the sugar. But this sugar was cut with acid, with LSD. So Agriva told how he went into an LSD trip during the Ratha Yatra. And he said, I should be more careful what I accept. You know, these are hippies, what do you expect? And then he wanted to go and see Srila Prabhupada, but kind of waited for the LSD effect to cool down. Because imagine you go to Srila Prabhupada. So anyway, there are all these details. This is history, okay? So anyway, Srila Prabhupada, so they brought the deities to Srila Prabhupada. Next year, 1968, there was a real cart. Jayananda Prabhu. There is a video on YouTube, Ratha Yatra 1968. It's longer, and you see many of the leaders. Of course, there were still young devotees, maximum 2 years of movement, maximum. But they were all, you can see all the leaders. There is even, for a second, you see Jayapataka Maharaj with long hair, long blonde hair. Was a handsome young American. And then few minutes later, you see him shaved up. Because Jayananda shaved him up. And he told some sort of, I'm not saying trickery, but some sort of way he told, well, you know, if you had to come to the Ratha Yatra, you have to shave up or something. So Jayananda personally shaved Jayapataka Maharaj up. So in that video, you see like before and after, just a question of 24 hours. Anyway, so that time there was a real cart. Jayananda Prabhu, most of you know Jayananda Prabhu. Jayananda Prabhu is so honored that all over the world, his picture is put in the Ratha Yatra cart. And I was reading a few days ago on Facebook, somebody, what's the story? Somebody, yeah, there was a devotee who was a nurse who somehow ended up taking care of a relative of Jayananda Prabhu. And then when this person left the body, they were very happy that there was a Hare Krishna taking care of her, because they were some sort of nephews of Jayananda. And one of them had been to South Africa, saw the Ratha Yatra, saw Jayananda on the cart. So they were very pleasantly surprised. This is our family member. And they worship him on the cart of the Lord. And then, of course, then the rest is not. I wouldn't say the rest is history, because there is a history which is dynamic. There are always more Ratha Yatras, more appearances of Jagannath, and everywhere in the world. I mean, some of you may not know. For instance, in Malaysia, just Malaysia, which is a tiny country, maybe 20 million people, and it's a Muslim country officially. There are some 28 Ratha Yatras every year, just in Malaysia. Some of them are small carts, but still it's 28. So just to list the name, I don't even know the name, all the cities where Ratha Yatra is held. No? In Russia, Ukraine, Africa, Europe. So, and of course, when we talk about Jagannath, we have this very special interaction. Jagannath is God, he comes, is Jagannath, is the Lord of the universe. And then Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya, and he becomes a worshipper of Jagannath. So you have this inconceivable interaction between two forms of the Lord. Daru Brahma. Daru Brahma means the Brahman, the supreme, the complete being in the form of wood. Daru means wood. And then you have Lord Chaitanya in the form of Bhakta Rupa. The form of Bhakta Rupa. So you have Dharu Rupa, Bhakta Rupa, and they interact. And Lord Chaitanya shows the highest form of ecstasy, worshipping himself in the form of Jagannath from the very beginning. When Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, he met the Mother Sachi, in Shantipur, which is now by car is like 1 hour from Mayapur. You can actually stop. It's practically, now there is the highway, it's practically the place where they met Advaitacharya, Nityananda Prabhu. They brought Sachi Devi. It's practically under 50 meters from the highway. Next time you go to Mayapur, you can make a point of stopping. All the drivers know, just say Shantipur, Advaita Path. Anyway, they brought Sachi Devi. Sachi Devi, of course, was very, in one sense, distressed because her first child took sannyas and she never saw him again. The husband, Jagannath Mishra, had died. Now also Nimai took sannyas. So Lord Chaitanya, when he meets Mother Sachi, he says something very nicely. Oh, I should not have taken sannyas. I mean, nice, circumstantial feeling. Of course, sincere, but just to pacify. And then he said, okay, you tell me where you want me to base. And she said, okay, stay in Puri, because there is a ongoing relationship between Bengal and Puri, even at that time. And so at least I will always hear about you, because there's always somebody going and coming from Puri. Devotees go from Bengal to Puri, come back, even nowadays. When you are in Mayapur, it's a common event that somebody comes from Puri and brings the Puri Prasad, you know, those boxes. So even at that time, it was like that. So, okay, I'll be based in Puri. And then they traveled together with different devotees. And they came all the way to Ataranala, which is just a few kilometers outside Puri. There's a bridge, still is there. And Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda. Lord Chaitanya went to take bath. He left the danda there. And Nityananda broke it in 3 pieces. And the Acharya explained, this is because he wanted to emphasize 3 danda sannyas is the real thing. 3 pieces. Body, mind, and words should be dedicated to Krishna. But formally, Lord Chaitanya took Ekadanda sannyas, so he had only 1 stick. But externally, he showed himself very angry. So he left his party and he walked ahead to the temple. And as soon as he came to in front of Jagannath, he just fainted. And the pandas, and the guards felt, who is this person? I mean, they didn't recognize. They thought maybe a drunkard or something. He just fell on the ground, unconscious. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was the priest of the king, he was a great scholar practically in India. He said, no, this is a sannyasi. He recognized these are signs of ecstasy. It's not a medical condition. It's not intoxication. These are signs of ecstasy. So he took him home and like that. And so the devotees after some time arrived and then they joined Lord Chaitanya. But the point is, Lord Chaitanya, from the very beginning, was overwhelmed with love of Jagannath. And there are so many stories, Chaitanya Bhagavata, Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Lord Chaitanya danced in front of the cart. There is the description, there is one lila in which Lord Chaitanya would arrange all the kirtan parties. Because at the time there was no amplification. So on the big road, you got to have more kirtan party. So the Lord, Chaitanya Charitamrita describes there is one main dancer, there are a number of kartas, a number of mridanga, there is a singer. So there was 7 kirtan group around Jagannath. And Lord Chaitanya expanded himself in all the 7 groups. And he was simultaneously dancing in the 7 groups. And not everybody could see. Few people could see it. Few people could see, like Swarup Damodar, he could see. Okay. Most people didn't know that. Just like described when the Rasa Lila, the Rasa dance, Krishna manifests alongside every gopi. But they don't know that he is also manifested along the other gopis. Everybody, oh, Krishna's with me. Similar things. There is the other episode when the cart did not move. Sometimes it happens. The cart just stops. Anybody here from Orissa or Puri? So sometimes the cart stops. There is no, we could say, physics explanation. It just stops. Nobody with all, it's the same amount of energy. All kinetic energy is the same, but doesn't move. So one time there was this situation. The cart would not move. So the king brought the elephants. Still the cart did not move. Then at one point, Lord Chaitanya just pushed it with his head, and the cart moved very, very, very fast. So there are millions of things that can be said, or every aspect, just of the Ratha Yatra in Puri. You know, the carts are huge, but they're done new every year. Every year there are fresh, newly made carts. And they have particular names, they have particular number of wheels, particular colors, and there are particular artisans that their only service is to do certain things. And of course, it's also sometimes a challenge, according to the weather, to finish in time for Ratha Yatra. It's a major thing. Then the cart, what I hear is that with the old carts, they cook for Jagannath. They use as logs for the wood of the kitchen. And of course, there are millions of things to say, even just about the prasad of Jagannath. What to speak of everything else. You know the story of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, by contemporary standards, he was a billionaire. He was a main owner of land in West Bengal. At the time, India would actually produce much more. And it was an agrarian society, and he was super rich, but then he renounced everything. I'm skipping few main points, but at one point he became a renunciant in Puri because Lord Chaitanya was in Puri. So Raghunath Das Goswami, imagine say that the son of Bill Gates or something like that, you know, and he becomes a mendicant in Puri. And he was living, all day was outside the Jagannath Mandir, just begging. But then he felt, this is not renounced enough. I mean, he wasn't trying to break some Guinness Book of Records or anything, but it just felt, look, I'm here all day, I recognize people, I see that person, oh, you gave me yesterday, maybe you'll give me also today. The other guy didn't give me anything. You know, it's disturbed my mind. It's like, what is this? I don't want to. So finally, they say, I'm not begging anymore. I'm going to the Chatras. The Chatras are like free food. There was a department sponsored by the ISKCON Baltimore in Puri at the time. and they were distributing free food. And then, so he would go there, and a regular time they serve. It won't be much opulent, obvious, but something. You fill your belly and you don't think anymore. Finally, he was thinking, this is not renounced enough. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, what time is it? I mean, they didn't have watches, but what time is it? Okay, half an hour, there will be food there. It didn't feel good enough, you know? So at the end, what he did, you can still see, there's one, you see, there are four main entrances in the temple, four entrances in the temple. There is one entrance where they throw all the old prasadam, which one is not sold or just went bad, or just, I mean, they cook tons and tons and tons of rice every day. So some of them, like, they just throw it. And there you can still see today, there's a wall, they throw it down, and then the cows go and eat that. So Raghunath Das Goswami, son of a billionaire, came there, and he was just choosing the rice that even the cows would not take. Because, I mean, the cows, see, this rice is too bad, I won't eat it. It was really, what do you call it, mulch, full of, no, what do you call it, fungus, mold, yeah, mold, black, basically. And even the cows won't touch it, and he will take it. He will go wash it nicely, and whatever was left, he would eat. He said, Jagannath Prasad. So he felt that's appropriate. That's befitting. He'll just eat like that. That was his meal. That was his food. And then Lord Chaitanya did something. He said, Raghunath, they told me you're having a feast every day, and you're not inviting me. Let me see. What do you have there in your hands? No, my Lord, this is not for you. This is not for you. It's nothing. No. Show me. Well, I know you're keeping something special from me. And then he forcibly opened his hand, and he take a morsel of that rice, and he ate, delicious. And then Raghunath said, please don't do that anymore. To show that he was very happy with Raghunath renunciation. It was not renunciation, of course, for show, for popularity, for Facebook likes. Not like you have in Facebook, many people go and give charity, but they make a point of making a video, right? Anyway, that's a different issue. So there is the whole universe of bhakti around Jagannath. There was always, and now is also there. They have a book, I heard there's a book in Puri, where every day it's recorded, every day they record a pastimes that Jagannath does on that day. He appears in somebody's dream. He appears in somebody's house. Something happens that people know. This is Jagannath. This is a Leela of Jagannath. This is an intervention of Jagannath. And there is a book that where every day something like that is written. Also, our Jagannath in Mayapur, they say it's a very, the locals say it's a very Jagrata deity. Jagrata means awaken, because he reciprocates a lot with the devotees. Like sometimes, devotees and non-devotees, everybody, sometimes the devotees offer some food, some prasad to a Muslim. And then this Muslim, I'm a Muslim, and he threw it away. In the night, Jagannath appeared in his dream. And he wanted, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly, but he wanted him to punish. I don't know if he slapped him or something, but he did something heavy on him. So the next day, this Muslim went to the temple. He said, can I have some prasad? what we gave yesterday, you didn't want it, you're a Muslim. No. And he explained why today he wanted it. So Jagannath, kind of, it's like he does unexpected things that, for instance, Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi in Krishna Lila is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, the father of Srimati Radharani. In Chaitanya Lila, he is Pundarik Vidyanidhi and is the guru of Gadadhar Pandit. A few days ago was Gadadhar Appearance Day. Some of you have heard it freshly. So what happened one day, he was in Puri. Generally, he was in Bengal, Bangladesh, Bengal. What today is Bangladesh, but Bangladesh, Bengal, he was there. He went to Puri, and somehow there is this festival of Odan Shashti. Officially is the start of the winter. And they offer Jagannath new clothes, new winter clothes, like chadars, like that. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi was watching this because it's a festival. I don't know how much you do here. You do Odan Shashti? Anyway, another thing on your to-do list to do. Anyway, whatever. Prabhu was telling me how he has a long list of things to fix. But anyway, you can consider. Yeah, you got a few months. Anyway, so he looked at the ceremony because it's a big festival, and then he was a little critical, but because they said, but they didn't wash the clothes. Generally, when you buy new clothes, because there's a starch, you washed it. And he was critical. He said, they didn't wash it. This is not proper, no? So Jagannath appeared in a dream, both Jagannath and Baladev, and they started slapping him. You don't criticize our servants. You stop criticizing. Who do you think you are? And this is Vrishabhan. It's also upstart or something. So, and I mean, they have those wooden arms that they slap you. It hurts. So they're slapping and slapping. These cheeks were red. Stop it. Yeah, but you stop criticizing. The last thing I tell you, because I only have 1 minute, another great devotee came to Puri, Ramanujacharya. He's a big, great acharya, and he's Anantadev himself. But he thought, okay, they have this kind of worship, because Jagannath Puri, everything is different. They just do their own way, and Ramanujacharya said, no, we need to establish Pancharatra here. We won't need to change this system. He wanted to establish the same system as in South India, this big temple, Srirangam, and so on. And then Jagannath just kicked him out of Puri. He went to sleep, and he got up in Kurmakshetra, which is maybe 400 kilometers south. He just woke up in Kurmakshetra. What happened? Just Jagannath. What is this Pancharatra thing? Get out of here. Go. So it's 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for your attention, your patience. Jai Jagannath, Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev, Jai Sudarshan Chakra ki Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class, especially sharing the appreciation of devotees and how by seeing other devotees' genuine feelings, we can also experience that, and also sharing so many pastimes about Jagannath and how Lord Chaitanya met Jagannath. I was intrigued by your title of the class. Now I understood you meant Lord Chaitanya meeting Lord Jagannath. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I wanted to mention all the devotees who are here.